over 20 years ago, I got a phone call from my boss, Sylvain, the owner of Greenstreet Cafe in Coconut Grove. I got scared because a few minutes earlier, he had already fired Cedric, my roommate. I walked over to my sofa, I sat down, and I answered, "Hey, Silvano." He said 4 words. "Too much drugs, Gabriel. Too much drugs, Gabriel," in his French accent. "Too much drugs, Gabriel. Too much drugs, Gabriel." He would not stop saying that. He did not fire me. I hung up the phone and I looked at a center table that I had. It was a Black Panther with a crystal clear glass on it. And that glass was crusty. There was beer bottles, a bomb, paper wrappers, cigarette butts. That table was my life. I was looking down and tears started accumulating in my eyes. When I finally closed my eyes, a water fountain of tears just came coming down my face. I cannot believe the person that I had become. Silvano showed me a mirror of the person that I was. When I was able to gather my thoughts and stop sobbing, I made a decision. And I said 2 words. No more. No more. No more weed. No more this. No more that. No more drinking. No more cigarettes. No more. Fast forward 10 years after that. About 10 years. I was flipping through the channels and I came across a basketball game. The Los Angeles Lakers versus the Miami Heat. It was March 2011. I had never really watched basketball before that. But in this particular occasion, I stopped. Can I tell you something? I fell in love with the game of basketball. Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Wayne Wade, the big 3. I got hooked. My friend Andre took me to the games. I started watching ESPN. First Take, Stephen A. Smith, Skip Bayless. I got into football. And also, Facebook started emerging at that time. Instagram came after. Netflix. Prime Video. Oh man. I was just sucking it up. Engaging in all these activities. Fast forward a couple of years after of continuing to have this and this way of life. One day, I was getting dressed in my closet and I looked at my reflection. Over 60 pounds overweight. And I looked at myself and what have you done to yourself? What happened? I cannot believe that I let myself go. One more time, I said, no more. No more. I started looking for books that were helping me. I found Audible. I made my work band on Automobile University. Started listening to books. And there was one particular book that really helped me. The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Dr. Stephen Covey. In the 7 habits, there was habit 3, which is put first things first. And in that idea, I found the quadrant of time management. Quadrant 1, urgent and important. We all have urgent and important things in our lives. We got to put out fires, some more than others. Quadrant 3 is urgent, but it's not important. But you see, we make it urgent. And we think that we're making, that we're doing something positive in quadrant 3, thinking that we're moving the needle, but we're really not. We deceive ourselves. Moving over to quadrant 4, that's very easy to identify. That's not important, and that's not urgent. Doom scrolling, Netflix, anything that just is a time waster, that doesn't edify our lives at all. Quadrant 2. Quadrant 2 is important, but it's not urgent. Taking care of your health, doing a budget, working on your relationships. You see, those things are important, but they can wait. And they often do. And when they do, now you gotta put out a fire in quadrant 1. You gotta become a firefighter. Most people in America, in the world, they live reactively in quadrant 1. In quadrant 3, they think that they're doing things that are important, and then they escape to quadrant 4 just to get away from everything. They neglect or do very little of quadrant 2. That's our society right now. What is built in quadrant 2? Well, that's where the magic happens. In the 6 pillars, I have in the book faith. Faith is the foundation, it's the bedrock in which my house gets built. Is the guidance. Family is the motivation. The reason why I do what I do. The reason why I go through the boredom, through the pain. Pillar 3 is fitness and health. The way you take care of your body. This is what you're going to be using in able to do everything else in your life. Pillar 4 is finances. How good of a steward are you with what you have been entrusted with? Pillar 5 is focus. Very similar to Pillar 4, which is how good of a steward are you in managing your time? Where's your time going? Then quadrant 6 is fulfillment. You see, when you do all the quadrants, you get fulfilled. But then the cherry on top is when you give without expecting anything in return. Let me take you back to the Black Panther table. You see, right after that, I picked up the phone and I told Sylvain, can we talk? And I said, not at the restaurant. He told me, well, Gabriel, there's a restaurant down, a bakery down Commodore Plaza. I'll meet you there. Okay? I went downstairs, I grabbed Cedric's bike, and I went to the bakery. The whole way I was crying. When I got there, I opened the door. He was sitting at the end. And he had bought me a pastry. That meant a lot to me. That act of kindness, it just really got to me. I went over and I sat down and I talked to him. I said, Sylvain, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And I want to change my life. Sylvain didn't say much. He knew that what happened next is what's going to matter, not my words. After I left, what happened the next 2 weeks? Civil war. The first day was easy. It was an emotional roller coaster. It was good. But the second day, my body was screaming, feed me, feed me. And I said, no. Every single day, it was a battle. It would have been easier to give in. This is how I put it. Imagine you have a motorcycle and you're riding your motorcycle through the mountains. And as you're going uphill, you run out of gas. You get off the motorcycle and now you're pushing forward. Eventually you start getting tired. Your legs, the muscles, your biceps. And that gravitational pull just keeps pulling back at you. That's how it felt. But I wasn't going backwards. I was not going back there. Now, what happens next is very interesting. I didn't know that was going to happen. But imagine I got to the top of the hill and there's a gas station, I put gas in the motorcycle, and now I'm going downhill. Imagine look at the contrast. Now, how did that look like in my life? Well, I'll tell you. One of those days, after 2 weeks or so, I was about to start my shift at Greenstreet Cafe. I went into the bathroom, I put my apron on, I washed my hands. When I turned around, I kind of glanced at myself and I looked at myself and I saw Gabriel for the first time in a long time. And I said to him, you are important. You are worth it. And you matter. And guess what? I actually believed it. I believed that I was important. I believed that I was worth it. And I believed that I mattered. And not only that, the best part is that I started believing it for everybody else. Everybody was important. Everybody else was worth it, and they mattered. So when I talked to them, I treated them like royalty. I saw a big smile in their face, and I was a part of that. When I would serve them, that's when I knew that the only thing that I wanted to do in my life was to serve others. You see, you can't stop or control time. You can only command your attention. And your attention is what gives value to your time. If your attention is scattered, your time is worthless. If your attention is focused, intentional, your time becomes power. You become a builder, a brick layer. You can't stop the ocean either. So you are either moving with intention or you are drifting with the current. And a lot of you are drifting. Not because you're lazy, not because you're broken, but because you stopped paddling. You stopped paddling years ago. But that can change. With one decision and two words. No more. No more. I'm going to ask you one question. And I'm going to do the same thing that Sylvain did for me. He put a mirror in front of me and gave me a gift. I'm going to put a mirror in front of you with one question. You need to be honest with yourself. Take this with you tonight. Are you drifting or are you thriving? My name is Gabriel. The ProActivator!